you doing, everybody? This is the first instalment of the PWL Q&A sessions. First up, it's the Great British Champion, Danny Gold. I hope you enjoy. Now, I've always loved wrestling from a young age, obviously. Unfortunately, I didn't have like Sky and stuff growing up on telly, so like I couldn't really watch wrestling, so to speak. I could watch clips and old videotapes that but in terms of watching it, I couldn't really watch it live or anything like that. But mainly my love for wrestling came from video games, playing like WWE games on PS1, GameCube, etc. And then coming off of that, like wrestling with my brothers in the bedroom, breaking beds, breaking tables, cabinets, everything. We broke everything. But yeah, that's how my love for wrestling started, through video games. I've had hundreds of matches now. I've been wrestling nearly 8 years, and so yeah, I've had quite a lot of matches. But there are some matches that are very, very memorable to me. I've probably got more than one favourite match, but if I had to say one, it would as much as it pains me to say this, because I hate his guts, is it was against Cal Silver, and it was in 2018 on the Paul London show in Gilbert's, and it was the hair versus hair match. Now, like I say, I hate Cal's guts so much. Me and him go way back. We were best friends. Any old school PWL fans will know that me and Cal were a tag team for like 4 years. Like I say, we were the best of friends. And he turned his back on me in the January of 2018. And for 5-6 months, he'd fully avoided me. He'd avoided me for so long. And I was in tag matches against him where he'd constantly avoid me all the time. And like, it took me until that match at Gilbert's where I finally got my hands on him. And we wrestled, I think it was about 30-35 minutes. And I was so like, I was tired, I was beat up, because we beat the hell out of each other, like I say, we go way back, we know each other in and out, and so, we were going counter for counter, punch to punch, and in the end, thankfully, I got the 1, 2, 3, and it was all worth it, because I got to shave his head. I'll be honest, John. I don't tend to eat before my matches, because all the thrashing around and bumping about, it tends to not sit well. But if you eat early enough, then I suppose I'd say like something like pasta, spaghetti bolognese. It's a brilliant meal, winner with everyone. However, after wrestling, I will go into that. I always like to go to McDonald's afterwards, which at the moment is killing me. As well as not wrestling, there's no McDonald's either. It's awful. But I'm not going to preach to the choir. You all know how it is. It's awful for everyone. But I know for a fact as soon as it opens, I'll be going straight there. My favourite wrestler, nowadays not so much, but growing up it was always Jeff Hardy. He was brilliant. I referenced this in another question, but I will answer it for you. It was an inspiration to me growing up. The way his he was just so much different to everyone else, and it used to draw me in, you know. But yeah, like he always was my favourite wrestler. But nowadays, I would have to say I like watching Drew McIntyre, you know, the WWE champion. Um, I like to watch um, Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's brilliant. Triple H to me is still amazing. I have so many. It's hard to pick, you know. Um, Shawn Michaels again. Kevin Nash. You know, there's so many. There's so many. But to answer your question, I'd probably say my favourite wrestler, yeah, it could be Jeff Hardy, or more so now, Drew McIntyre. And what is my favourite wrestling video game? It would have to be. It's a funny one, really. Not many people might know it. It was brought out on the Nintendo GameCube. It was called WWE Day of Reckoning. It was one of the first ever games, wrestling games I ever had. I used to play it with my brothers on the GameCube all the time. It was brilliant. You know, it always stick with me because it was one of the first ones that we ever played together. And yeah, I always remember it. You know, the music on it, the graphic. Looking back, the graphics weren't all that good, you know, compared to nowadays. But still, it was a brilliant game. Well, there's a lot to choose from. I mean, you know, there's so many guys that are on TV that, you know, you look at and you think, oh God, I'd love to wrestle them. But um, I would. Do you know what? I'm gonna stick like a bit close to home here. I'd love to defend this against Kevin Phoenix. You all know him. You know, he's an American guy. He's pretty much a part of PWL. You know, not many people like him. Can't say I blame you. But you know, he's a brilliant wrestler. Again, as much as it pains to say, because you know Kevin Phoenix. But yeah, I would love to defend this against him, and I'm sure when all this is over and he can travel again, he'll be back at PWL. And if I know Kevin like I think I do, then he'll probably want a piece of this. So yeah, I'd have to say Kevin Phoenix. Um, First off, in terms of a move set, I mean, I was probably wrestling maybe 1 or 2 years before I had a fixed, you know, move set that that I knew I could do, and like moves that I knew could do damage, you know. But yeah, I'd say 1 or 2 years, but I'm always trying to evolve and change, you know. So my opponents don't, you know, they don't they don't know what's coming. You know, if I keep changing, they ain't gonna know what's coming. So yeah, so that leads me on to the next question. What was my finishing move or signature move before the frog splash? I've used many. As I say, I like to try and evolve and keep it different. Before the frog splash, there was the twist of fate, which I still use occasionally. Um, there was a, a leapfrog leg drop that I used to do, a little Jimmy. Um, yeah, there's so many. I mean, I even used the crossbody as a finisher for a little bit, you know. Yeah, it's like I say, I like to try and keep evolving, keep changing it up, because otherwise, you know, you get stale and you get you get into a rhythm of always using the same things, and people know what's coming, and you know, when you're a wrestler, that's no good for you. You know, you gotta keep your opponent on their toes. So trying to check. I mean, luckily with the frog splash, once they're down, you know, all I gotta do is climb and bang. You know. But yeah, soon enough, do you know what, the frog splash I will probably keep now. But in terms of the move that puts them down before that, you know, I will probably always, you know, keep evolving, as I say, keep changing it up, and just keep trying to deliver, you know, devastating moves to put them down for that big splash. um, and in terms of advice for trainees trying to become a wrestler, first and foremost, listen. you've got to listen. I mean, wrestling, it's not easy. It's really not. I mean, you're always learning. You're always learning. I mean, I've been doing it 8 years now, and you know, I'm still learning new things. I mean, Mad Dog Max, you know, he's been wrestling 20 years, and he says to me that he's still learning new things. You know, it's you're always learning. It's weird, you know. I mean, you go to college or you go to university and you learn something, you graduate, and then you're done. But this with wrestling, you can't just graduate. You know what I mean? You're always learning. You never stop. Like, and the thing is as well, it's always evolving wrestling. You know, there's always new moves to learn. There's always new holds to do. I mean, there's over 100 reversals from a wrist lock. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like I say, just listen. That'll be my first point. Second of all, don't come in thinking it's easy, because it's not. It takes a toll, you know. And it brings you back to listening. If you don't listen, you know, you are gonna. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're gonna get hurt. It's not ballet, you know what I mean. But if you listen and you learn to do it right, then you know you won't get hurt half as much as what you would if you didn't. You know what I mean? Listen. Always keep learning. Never think it's easy. And don't try and be something that you're not. Because a great wrestler once said, Mick Foley, the best wrestling character is just an extension of yourself. And that could not be more true. It really couldn't. I mean, you couldn't be, you know, a big 500-pound guy and come in there and expect to be, you know, a high flyer. Because, you know, you might be able to jump off the top rope, but you're not going to be a high flyer. You know what I mean? You could come in there, you know, a little skinny guy like I did, and you could think, oh, I want to do a powerbomb, or I want to do a tombstone. Now, don't get me wrong, you could do them. You can learn to do those things. But, you know, you never, like I said about the heavyweight thing, you're not going to come in there as a lightweight guy and do heavyweight things. You know, don't try and be something that you're not. So, yeah, just listen, always keep learning, don't try and be something you're not, and do not, for any reason, think that it's easy, because it's not. Yeah, yes I have. One time, I was out just, you know, doing my normal shopping in Morrison's actually, and I was going about my business, you know, pushing the trolley as you do, and I just heard a young voice say, "Mom, Mom, Mom, it's Danny Gold." And I was like, "Surely not," you know. And you know, I turned round and there's this kid that used to come to the wrestling shows, and he was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I've seen you," you know. He actually, like, he was like, can you sign this piece of paper for me?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." You know, I didn't have a pen on me, and he was. So what the kid actually did, fair play to him, was he actually got a Sharpie out of a packet that was on the shelves. He just got it out and says, "Yeah, I'll use that." I was like, "Oh, okay." Signed the thing, you know, gave it him, like, biggest smile on his face ever. It looked like he made his day. And obviously, of course, you know, it made me feel good too. And then he made his mum buy the pens. You know, fair play to the kid. He wanted a signature and he got it. But yeah, that's the answer to your question. I have been known as Danny Gold, and it was a surreal experience. Now, again, this is the same as like with wrestlers. Like, it's hard, really hard to pick one, because there's, you know, there's thousands, millions of songs even. But it might shock you. I mean, but I am a huge fan of Luther Vandross. You know, his voice is just exemplary, in my opinion. His version of The Impossible Dream is probably my favourite song to listen to. You know, however I'm feeling, that will always, you know, make me feel like I'm like there's no one around me. There's nothing around me. That's just me and the music. You know, it sounds silly, but it's true. It's true. Big fan of Luther. If it weren't that, you know, I love stuff like I like Bruno Mars. I like Ed Sheeran. Um, you know, Elvis Presley is one. You know, I love my old music. Simply because my dad. You know, my dad was a pub and club singer for about 30 years. I was brought up around music, so you know I like old stuff, like things that would shock you, like you know Roy Orbison. You know, he's not many people know who he is. If you don't look him up, he's brilliant. The Carpenters, again, look them up, amazing. If you don't know who they are, but yeah, like I've got a repertoire of music, like songbook up here in my head. But yeah, if I had to say a favourite one, it would probably be that Luther Vandross song, or of course my entrance music. That was you know it was made for me. There's no copies of that anywhere. It's my own music. If you haven't heard it, then where you been? You know. But yeah, I love my entrance music. It's you know it's ideal for me. It's down to a T. You know what I mean? Because I love that sort of old music, but you know, I love the newer stuff as well. So to merge the two was brilliant. So yeah, Luther Vandross, "The Impossible Dream" is probably my all-time favourite song. Again, don't judge me on that. Or of course, my own entrance music. Well, me personally, I would have to go for Jeff Hardy because growing up, he was there was no one better in my eyes. I mean, you know, the colours of his hair, you know, his face paint, you know, his attire was so much different to everybody else's. You know, the dangerous things he did. You know, his character just drew me in. Like, you know, his name, the charismatic enigma. It was true. You know. Um, yeah, so I would absolutely love to have a match with Jeff Hardy. What kind of match? Well, seeing as he likes jumping off things, and so do I, let's go hardcore. You know, why not? If I'm going to wrestle Jeff Hardy, I might as well go the whole hog. You know, do it properly. You know, let's do everything. But yeah, yeah, it would have to be Jeff Hardy. Failing that, second, I would like to put in there that I would like to wrestle Ric Flair as well. That would have been amazing. The man was just, in my eyes, the best to ever do it. You know, wrestling wise, he was just phenomenal, phenomenal man. So yeah, Jeff Hardy in a hardcore match, or failing that, Ric Flair. Okay. Well, it's hard to explain really. There was a total mix of all different feelings. I was scared, I was nervous, I was excited, the adrenaline was flowing. You know, mainly I would have to say I was scared. Looking back, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't, but um, yeah, you know, needs must. Like, in that match, you know, there was so much going on. There's so many big talents, and really, like, you know, to stand out, you've got to, you know, you've got to go out there and you've got to do things that, you know, make you stand out. And in that match, like I said, because there's so many big characters, like, I don't know what really was going through my mind, but I knew that I had to make make this memorable. You know what I mean? So I slipped off halfway through the match. Honestly, I'd hurt my arm. I didn't. I was going backstage. I genuinely didn't think I was going to carry on. And then I thought, no, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to carry on. And I saw the stairs to the balcony. I climbed up. I looked over the edge, and I saw the other 7 men all down there fighting. And I thought, you know what? It's time to make a name for yourself. And I think that's what I did. I jumped, and thank God, you know, I was fine. I was, you know, don't get me wrong, it hurt me in all sorts of ways, but yeah, to answer the question, what was going through my head, I was scared. I was genuinely scared, but I'm so glad that I did it. I'm glad that I did it, because in another way as well, like on the roster, you know, like I say, there's a lot of big guys, and like um, in terms of muscle, etc., and body type, like I'm not the biggest guy, you know, so to stand out, you've got to do things that'll make you stand out, and I think that that moment has made me stand out, and I think, well, I like to think that that moment will go down in PWL history as one of the best. Yeah, we will be back, and with a bang. I promise you that. And I'll tell you why, because of you guys. Honestly, you guys are the reason that PWL is still big and as strong as ever. Because without you guys, there is no PWL, let's face it. Because without you guys, it's just, you know, we're just wrestling in front of nobody, and that's, you know, that's no fun for anyone. But yeah, I want to say thank you as well, you know, because you guys are some of the most, no, not some of the most, you are the best supporters that I've ever come across, easily. You know, I could stake a claim to say that you guys are the reason I have this, because you guys kept me going. You know what I mean? You guys always cheered me on. No matter how many times I failed at getting this, you know, you guys are always there to cheer me on, and it was amazing, amazing. So I want to say thank you for that. But my final message that I'd like to leave you with is keep safe, enjoy the times with your families, and I promise you that we will be back bigger and better than ever. I promise you that. Thank you.